Hi, this is Vi from Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to create a card using the small die of the month in December. If you're a member of the Spellbinder die club, in December they sent you the small die along with a set of stamps. So actually I think you had to be a member of both. I'm not sure, but I am part of the club and I have the large die and the small die. I get both of them at the same time and you get a stamp. And let's see, I think anybody, as long as you're a member of one of the stamp clubs, you got one of these free gifts. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. I'm going to go ahead and use the circle die here. I'm using some card blanks, and these are from Michaels. So I get these whenever they have them on sale for $5, and you get 60 sets of cards. You get envelopes and card blanks. So those are the ones I use for my cards. I'm also using a Sissic die. This is the one that has the perforation on the edges. So I'm using the largest of the Sissic square die. I'm using cardstock, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and I'm also using VersaFine ink. So that's what I'm going to use to ink my sentiment. I'm also more likely going to emboss it as well, so we'll see. So let me go ahead and first cut out my layers. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this layer. And I'm going to put my magnetic plate down, then my B plate. I'm using the Cuttlebug. I'm going to go ahead and put the die facing up. I'm going to put my cardstock on my sandwich. Let me bring my Cuttlebug over. And before I run it through, I'm going to make sure I have my sandwich just right. Put my die, then my cardstock, then my top cutting mat, and then I'm going to just run it twice. Okay. So hopefully it cut. Let's go ahead and see. Yep, it cut perfectly. So what I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to put some of these dies, the ones that has the leaf one of the small die of the month from Spellbinder. So I'm going to place the leaves so they look in nice position. So one facing up and the other one facing down. And then I'm just going to run it through my Cuttlebug. And I'm going to repeat that because I want 6 of these on my card. And I'm saving up those scraps because I can use it either as masks or I can color them, spritz them, use them as embellishment for another card. So I'm not going to throw away the discards. And the inspiration for this card came from actually the package of my die. So I'm going to create this card. Okay. The next die I'm going to use is the circle die. And let me get some black cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out my circle. So here's my circle. And I think I'm done with die cutting. I'll put it aside. I may need to use it, but right now I'm done with die cutting. So here's my circle. Before I do anything, let me go ahead and stamp this, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp happy, and I'm going to put day. So let's see if happy fits. Yep, it does fit on my circle. Go ahead, make sure I place a magnet on there so it will stay where I want it. Okay. And I think this magnet may be a little too thick. I want to get a good impression. So I'm just going to tape it down. Yep, that will work. So let me get some Versamark. Let me go ahead and do it again because it feels like it's going to be... I don't have a lot of ink in my Versamark. I need to buy the re-inker. So let me do it again, just to make sure that I get a good impression. Okay, that's a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and bring some paper over so that way I can put the excess back in my jar. Okay, so let me heat up my embossing tool. Make sure it's nice and hot before you heat your sentiment. If your embossing tool is not really hot, sometimes it doesn't melt even. While it's getting hot, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these extra areas that have embossing powder that I don't want to emboss. And now I'm going to emboss it. So you apply heat until you see the embossing powder getting shiny. Once that happens, you don't want to overcook the embossing powder. So just make sure it gets shiny and everything is melted. Like that. Okay, we're going to put that aside. And I might stamp. Let me put this back in the yard. I might stamp happy day. I think I'll put there happy day. Now let's put it's. It's or have. Let's put have a happy day. So have let's put have a happy day. I think that would be good. And I have a tutorial how to create this stamping tool, so I'll put that in my links, so that way if you want to see, if you're interested in that tutorial, you can go ahead and go over to that particular video, and I teach you how to create that stamping tool. It's very easy to make. I'm going to remove the excess embossing powder. Then I'm going to go ahead and emboss this. Have a happy day. So that looks like a nice little sentiment. You can send it to anybody. Okay, let me go ahead clean these. Just put them back in the sheet, on the sheet, so I don't lose, especially these little ones. They get lost so easily. Okay, so the next thing I want to go ahead and do, let me look for my paper. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place this on this piece of cardstock and then this on top. But I want to create a shadow effect. So I'm going to go ahead and put some foam adhesive in some of these areas here. I want to go ahead and put enough adhesive or enough of this foam adhesive to create the shadow. Especially if you're going to plan to mail this, you want to make sure that you put enough that it evens out. It's even on the card, so that way you don't have some areas that are more flat or depressed than the other areas. Okay, I think I want one there. Okay, so now let's remove these. Okay, everything has been removed. Now I'm going to bring my card base here. Actually, this is 4 inches by 5 1/2 or 5 1/4. I can leave that there. Then we're going to place that here, and actually I'm going to cut this down a little more. Okay, just want to make sure that none of the paper pokes through. And we're going to place that right here. And I'm going to use some sticky tape, if I can find it in all this mess. Here it is. So now we're going to go ahead and place that. Make sure it's nice and even on your card. Okay. You can place it in the middle. I think I'm going to put it in the middle. And I'm going to use some foam adhesive. Put it right there. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and put some jewels on here. So let me go and find some. And I shall be back. So I went ahead and got some sequins. I think I like these red ones. I'm going to put the link of the containers. These containers, I bought them at Harbor Freight. And they're pretty economical, and they're perfect for these sequins. And for anything that's little. Sometimes you get two. So there. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some adhesive. Just putting a couple of drops of glue, and then I'm going to put the jewels on top of that. And I'm using the We Are Memory stick. It has the pick and also the rubber end, which is not the greatest. I think I'm done with this card. Let's make sure those are placed on the card. Okay, I'm done with this card. So I hope you liked this video, and thank you for watching. Bye now.